All right, hey y'all, let's do the countdown. Lord have mercy. Y'all, let me put my glasses on. Where, where y'all come on the room, like that video. Come on. This, let me tell you, let me remove my logo so we can have that. We are live, you guys. Oh my gosh. We just sent out the text. So make sure y'all go. We live, we live. Um, this case is a roller coaster. This case, you all may be seated. I'm at work. Don't trigger nobody. Thank you, Mouth Open. Thank you for the super sticker. Um, this case is a roller coaster. This case, and I want to say it because I know a lot of people is listening. Do I believe that Tory Lanez shot Megan? Yes. So we're going to get into the details. I want to give a special shout out to a colleague that is in the courtroom that is giving his opinion about the proceeding, and that is Armand from the Armand Wiggins Show. So we want to give him a special shout out because he's in the courtroom. And I wish that he was in the courtroom from day one, because when he gave his commentary, it was without the theatrics. It was without the commentary, like making a statement on top of the commentary. He was just giving his uh uh commentary, and that's what I said. I said, wow, here we go. So I really want to give him A1. He did an amazing job. An amazing job. Let me tell you again, an amazing job. Because I wish that he was there from day one, because his commentary, we are live, you guys. We are live. Okay. It was clear and concise, to the point where we can digest it. All right. We are live. Make sure you all like the video. We are live. We are live on the air. We are live on the air. All right. We are live. All right. So let me get into some of these notes. I do want to say that because his reporting, it has been top notch. And his Instagram video has been top notch. When I tell you his Instagram video has been top notch, I definitely has been on it. His Instagram, when I tell you, has been top notch. Where he talked about how the Kylie situation, the previous video, we were talking about how Kylie, kicked him out, and how, Megan Thee Stallion was upset and they had to leave Kylie's home. And I want to give you the details after that. And so I want to definitely do this. Okay. Let me read some of these notes. In the notes that I received, that I was listening, that I was taking, said that Kelsey got a call from ROC Nation. Y'all know who Kelsey is. Kelsey is the best friend, the former best friend of Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion, right? And ROC Nation told Kelsey that you need to move from Houston. This is after the shooting. This is after the shooting that she get a call from ROC Nation, and they told Kelsey she need to move from Houston. and that Megan Thee Stallion was going to be down for a year. Megan told Kelsey before that, Megan told Kelsey to move in with her, to quit her job, to be an assistant. Kelsey called Megan and was texting her and asked her, why do I have to move? Kelsey tried to go to the hospital to see Megan Thee Stallion, but she couldn't get in. She was sitting outside in the car. A few weeks later, they said Megan would be down for the year. And Kelsey was like, Megan was, she wants to know why is Megan upset with her. This is what Armand Wiggins reported in his video. He said that Tory Lanez, that first Quan, is a security guard, Ty's friend, part of his team, hit up Kelsey and said, let's meet at the studio. Quan hit up Kelsey, said, meet up the studio. And Kelsey said, no, I'm not meeting up the studio because I'm scared. So Quan and Tory Lanez met with Kelsey at the hotel. And she didn't tell Megan because Megan wasn't talking to her at the time. So Tory apologized to Megan. No, Tory apologized to Kelsey, saying that Megan was doing low blows, coming at him about his career, and that Tory Lanez wanted to embrace and a hug. Now, it's unclear if Kelsey actually gave Tory Lanez a hug. Per Tory Lanez legal team, they advised him to word it this way. Is there a business? He said this to Kelsey. Is there a business you want me to invest in? Kelsey said, quote, I don't want nothing from you. Is there something I can help you with? Is there anything I can help you with? And Kelsey said, I don't want nothing from you. Megan, and this is the pressure, Megan felt, this is what Armand was reporting, Megan felt the pressure of the online slander. Megan texted Kelsey, and Megan wanted Kelsey to go online via Instagram Live and to tell what happened. Okay? And she demanded that she tell the story via Instagram on what happened. And Kelsey told Megan, you've been paying my phone calls, not paying attention. And Megan never knew that Tory Lanez offered Kelsey money. She wanted Kelsey, this is Megan, wanted Kelsey to go online and tell the public what happened that night. Kelsey, according to her testimony of that recording, felt like she didn't feel protected by Megan Thee Stallion. She said she didn't shoot Megan, but Thee Stallion, she didn't feel protected by her because she didn't shoot Megan Thee Stallion. Then they did the diss record. And then she said, I know that Megan Thee Stallion is approving her new friends to drag me because they start calling her broke. They start calling her B. She said, I never didn't want to tell the truth. Like, I always wanted to tell the truth, but I did not want to tell it to the internet because a lot of people were saying Kelsey is quiet. She ain't telling what's going on. And Kelsey have gotten legal representation. So, when Megan started calling her, and say, hey, go on the internet, and Kelsey's like, listen, you weren't paying me no mind. I got legal representation, stuff like that. And in this testimony, she said she didn't care that Tory Lanez slept with Megan. She didn't care that Megan slept with Tory Lanez. She said she just wanted it to be protected. And Roc Nation wanted Kelsey out of the way. Like, they wanted her to move, and like I told you. And that's a big piece because I'm like, wow, her manager company want her out of the way. So in the testimony, we learned that the weapon that was used was a semi-automatic weapon. We learned that in the testimony of a firearms expert testified that it was shot 5 times, and they said you have to have an 8.5 pressure force to use this semi-automatic weapon, meaning that you cannot use this weapon as an accident, that this weapon was intentional. All right, y'all station head people, y'all hit me up on YouTube. All right, see y'all on YouTube. Okay, this was intentional. That with this 8.5 pressure, that is no accident, that whoever you trying to shoot, it was intentional. And so the defense, they brought a question to this expert and said, well, what about a kid that pick up a weapon and shoot themselves? They said, this gun is intentional. You need 8.5 pressure to use this weapon. I don't know about that hypothetical, but with this particular weapon, you need 8.5 pressure. And she said, it was no accident. This was intentional. So the biological DNA expert, Tory Lanez DNA was not on the magazine. They said they had 2 women DNA and 2 men DNA on there, but they could not say that it was Tory Lanez, or they could not say if it wasn't. It was inconclusive. So you have this whole situation that the part of the weapon that now we don't have a smoking gun of the weapon of having Tory Lanez DNA on the weapon. So his DNA is not on the weapon. They can't say it's on it or not on it. It's inconclusive, meaning that to the jury, But the part that got me is when the defense had their expert and the prosecutor was pretty much saying, hey, don't you get paid? You're not, you're not accredited by the state. So who are you? Like, who looks over you? He was like, well, my team. So no other agency look over you. You are literally independent. And they were talking about how much money he made and all of that. And then the defense was like, listen, we have, we hired you. This is the first time because the prosecutors, they have the LAPD people, and we have to hire our own experts. So when I look at, when I was listening to Armand Wiggins' commentary, and when I was listening to this commentary, it was one piece that the LAPD did something wrong, that they did not test Kelsey. Like, Kelsey was not tested to test her DNA and compare it to the weapon. She was not on there. The reason why I say this, it was 2 men DNA on there and 2 women DNA on there, according to the testimony. Now, as I look and digest this, even though I know by Kelsey's word, and I feel it in my gut, and by Megan Thee Stallion word, that Tory Lanez shot her, it is on the prosecution to prove this case beyond a reasonable doubt. From Armand Wiggins and others, I'm going to stick with his reporting that you already on the weapon, it does not have Tory Lanez DNA. It's inconclusive. So as a fact, you can't say it was Tory Lanez DNA. You have testimony there saying it was 2 men DNA and it was 2 women DNA on it. So you have that. So I don't think today, even with the recording, with expert testimony, there was some doubt created on today. Because the biggest doubt that I look at is that Tory Lanez DNA is inconclusive. Like, you can't say yay or nay, meaning to them, to the jury, where's DNA not on it? So that's doubt. So listening to this conversation, this is the LAPD or whatever. Now, I do have theories, and I know Armand have this theory too. And I was talking to a guy, he was like, wow, they probably wiped down that gun. And I agree with what Armand said. They probably wiped down that gun and stuff like that. And that was smart on their part, because good attorneys, they're making as much doubt as possible. From this day, I believe that it will be a mistrial. I believe it will be a mistrial. I believe they're going to be deliberating for a long time, and it's definitely going to be a mistrial. I will not be shocked. Either a mistrial, I believe that it's on a mistrial. Like, because it's either 50-50. And I don't believe all 12 juries can even come to a conclusion that he's guilty. I don't believe that all 12 jurors can say that he's not guilty. I definitely will believe that it will be a mistrial. I definitely would believe that. And so I'm going to be looking forward to next week. But today, thank God, this ain't the end. Because if this was the end, oh, baby, I know for a fact it would have been a mistrial. So I'm looking forward to next week. I am glad that Armand Wiggins is going to go to the courtroom next week because his reporting was spot on, right? His breakdown was clear, simple, to the point, not the extra theatrics, but just to the point of the notes that he got from the courtroom. I would say from Megan, she dropped the ball because one thing where she fucked up at and Roc Nation fucked up at, when they told Kelsey to move out, that's a fucked up move because they should have said, okay, Kelsey, you can move. They should have said, let's make this airtight. You continue to be Megan Thee Stallion assistant. We're not going to say nothing. If we just going to move on, we're going to live out there. They should have never inserted their self, and Megan should have stepped up and say, no, this is my friend. I'm not about to throw my friend out. I'm not about to tell my friend to move. That's what I'm not going to do. And I don't understand why Roc Nation wanted Kelsey to be separated from Megan. That was crazy because y'all left Kelsey out there by herself. Now put yourself in Kelsey's shoes. She don't have a management team. She didn't have a lawyer at that time. She don't have big budget at this time. And at that moment, Megan was her friend. So she couldn't even see how her friend was doing. And even Megan herself didn't even call and say anything. She just let Roc Nation do that. So now I get an understanding that, oh, I can understand why, Kelsey feels some type of way. Because when she gave her testimony, according to my reporting, that woman was adamant to give you details of what happened that night. Now, I believe somebody got to Kelsey from Tory's team, and whoever came to her, they was very persuasive. They have schooled her because she came out and she flip-flopped her position and she changed. And through the prosecution case, because of this expert testimony, the prosecutors know that they don't have a smoking gun with the weapon because Tory Lanez's DNA is not on it. So their smoking gun or their backbone in this case is, to collaborate Megan's story is Kelsey. Kelsey was the backbone of this case, and she flipped her position. So if she would have kept her same story, that would have been very strong. But because she switched and changed her mind, it just put a monkey wrench in this case. Now, for what Armand was reporting, the driver is just disappeared. The driver is gone. So I just know what happened to the driver. They paid that driver off. He's somewhere in Mexico. He's somewhere in Tijuana. He just gone. And he ain't going to resurface until Tory Lanez get off, and then you will see the driver resurface. But he's been paid off, and he's gone. He would have been an incredible witness. But I think that's the failure of the prosecution. You mean to tell me your investigators could not track down this driver? Because he was there. He's seen everything. And he just poof, gone. Ain't nowhere, just poof, disappeared. So I believe that Tory team got to that driver, paid him well, and he knew how to hide. And he's in hiding. He ain't going to resurface, if he ever resurface, until Tory Lanez get off. So I think the prosecutor probably was like, well, we really don't need the driver because we got Megan Thee Stallion and we got Kelsey. So we don't really need the driver. Now they need that driver. They need somebody else that's credible to collaborate Megan Thee Stallion's story, because not only did the driver didn't speak to prosecutors in September, never. He's poof, gone. So this trial got a lot of twists and turns. So we're going to see what's going to come up on next week. I believe they're supposed to have a neighbor with a camera supposed to come next week. But again, when it came to Roc Nation, they dropped the ball because they should have never inserted themselves in a friendship relationship. They should have never told Kelsey, you need to move. And when I tell you that Megan Thee Stallion should have never agreed to something like that, because you went out there and you told that she had to move, and then Megan, you needed Kelsey to collaborate your story for public optics. She probably would have, collaborated your story months ago, 2 years ago, if you and Roc Nation didn't kick her out of the palace. So that didn't make any sense. It is sad because Megan is getting dragged in these streets. Kelsey ain't getting dragged. Megan is getting dragged. And Tory Lanez's team done a hell of a job with their PR machine, with their bloggers, and all of that. And now Megan is really on the defensive because she has to look at the public optics of her career. Her career have been tainted. And if, like I said, I believe Tory did it, but I can give a damn of what I believe because it's about what the jury is going to decide, because they are going to have the final say so. Their decision is going to determine the fate of Daystar Peterson, or whatever his name is, Tory Lanez. They're going to have the final say so. So with that being said, with that energy, to the people that are out there, because of what Kelsey did and because the prosecutors did not have 1,000% physical proof, this could have been a nail in a coffin for the weapon. If they would have had Tory Lanez's DNA on the weapon, his DNA only, this could have been great for the prosecution. But because it's inconclusive, technically not on it or whatever to the jury, that is just really, really bad for the prosecution. So it's just terrible. But Tory did apologize, but he didn't say, I apologize for shooting you. That apology could be, I apologize for sleeping with Megan. That could be why he apologized. That's what the defense could be in saying in closing arguments. So again, we're going to have to look forward to what is going to be in the closing arguments. And I know I was reading an article and they said that Megan Thee Stallion is extremely stressed. I was talking to a couple of sources. They're saying that she's extremely stressed. Her relationship is strained. She's receiving hate mail, like hate messages, and she don't want to check social media. When she checks social media, she's been bombarded. She have been instructed by Roc Nation not to do an Instagram live, not to go off on Twitter because they don't want to derail anything like that. She's just wow. It's really sad. Just for her optics, for Megan, is just bad for her because Megan did make mistakes. She made a mistake by interviewing with Gayle King. That was a mistake. And before that mistake, she threw out her friend. So with that mistake, that was a mistake she shouldn't have made. That was a mistake that she should have never said, we're going to kick Kelsey out. That was wrong, Megan. That was really, really wrong. And people need to understand, just because you sign to a management company, they don't get paid unless you work. So you have the final say so. All right. So she should have called and say, listen, guys, this is my friend. This is my sis. I've been knowing her for college. I'm not going to tell her to go move. So Megan, I believe, paid Kelsey's rent for a year, but Megan should have never kicked her out, because to Kelsey, she's hurt. Not only that you slept with Tory, I could give a darn about that. I was a little hurt about that, but I'm really hurt that you left me out there to dry. You left me out there to dry. And what messed up Megan, and she getting dragged, she should admit that, said, hey, I did sleep with Tory. When she denied that to the public optics, it messed it all up. Okay. Hello. I'm live right. I'm live right now. Who is nigga? Look. I thought that was Nick at night. I'm on live. I'm on live. I did not stop my whole live. I'm on live, D. I'm on live. I'm live right now. Bye bye. That's Neek at night, and that was Neek and Armand Wiggins' former friend. That was Neek and Armand Wiggins' former friend. He just laughing. You think I'm gonna be at somebody's party? I'm gonna be getting clicks and views. You ain't see Armand because they're at where they at? They're at let me see where they at. They're at where they at? Janae Aiko Toy Drive. They had Janae Aiko Toy Drive. They had Janae Aiko Toy Drive. Because I told Neek I'm on my way. Just flirt. I'm on my way. You know, I'm not even LA, but anyway. So yeah, so that's how that should have happened. My bad, my apologies. Shouldn't have answered that on the air, but I was live. So yes, okay. But that was Armand Wiggins' friend, former friend. Well, it got to be former friend because he said he ain't got no friends on YouTube. Anyway, so that's how that went. And I want to repeat that. That is so wow. I get it. But Kelsey still, out of all of that, she told the truth when she talked to the prosecutors. It changed because somebody had a conversation with Kelsey and she took that deal. And Kelsey is attached to Carl Crawford in 1501. Her baby daddy, I believe, is executive of 1501. They say he managed Erica Banks. That's her husband. So she's married. She's connected to 1501. 1501, they are already about to lose Megan Thee Stallion because Megan gonna do one. Megan is about to get ready and that's gonna be done. And Jay Prince, Megan are about to be done with 1501. So they're battling with that. So they're trying to destroy her because they feel like, listen, girl, you're going to be done with us. So we want to make sure we destroy you. So don't nobody want to even sign you. All right. So give me a second. We are live. Those are my report. And again, I want to give a special shout out to Armand Wiggins. Can y'all say that? Can y'all tell Armand I'm giving him a shout out? Even though I dragged him, even though I dragged him on social media, but when he does something great, I am 1,000% on his side. When he does something great, I gotta give it to him. When he does something great, when he showed up and did the reporting, he did good. And if you don't believe that, something got to be wrong with you because what that man did, he did a great job. All right, I think we got a caller. All right, give me a second. Hello, you live on the Wiley Show. Hello? Oh, let me put you on speaker. Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
The case is over, and I think that we just need to say some prayers for Megan. Like, she has been taking loss after loss. Her mom, her grandmother, her friend, this case, possibly her man, her dignity, her respect, some of her fans, her credibility. She's just losing like back to back, and I just feel that's a lot on a person. And I really feel like we just need to pray for her to have some strength, because this is a lot for one person to just have to go through, and then getting shot on top of that. Like, this is a lot physically and mentally. I can see someone, committing the S word because of all of this. And then after she leaves this case, she has to go fight another case with 1501. That's a lot for one person. So I want Megan to go do some soul searching, prayer, and maybe she needs to just take a break from
I want to say this: the defense still have to prove their side. And again, you're right, because not only does she have this case, she does have a civil case with 1501. So and she's going to be more dragged on that because she's going to have the stench of this trial. So what can save her if Tory Lanez going to jail? That could be a saving for Megan. That's a sign of relief. But if he get mistrial, that's going to be bad. If he get a not guilty, that's going to be real bad. So both of them scenarios are going to be bad.
What she needs to do is take off for a couple years, do something with her degree. I know it's not going to bring her as much money as, this rap life, but she just needs to just take a break and do some self-reflecting. The girl hasn't taken a mental break, and a lot of things have happened to her. Her mom passed away. She still was on the road. Her grandmother passed away. She hasn't had time to even grieve that, let alone deal with this man from 1501, this Tory shooting. That's a lot for a person, and I know it's entertainment for us to just watch it, but to just have somebody life just go up in shambles right in front of you is, I feel for her. Whether she lied or not, I just feel for one person that would have to go through all of this. She needs to just take a break away from the limelight, lay low, and do something with her degree, maybe open up some buildings. I think her degree was in health administration or something like that.
Yeah, it was in health administration. So she should open up a couple of assisted living and nursing homes.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And invest some money in that. It's just like lay low for a little bit and get recentered. Because this is a lot.
I hear you.
A lot. Like when no one's going to even if this would be the perfect time for someone to come take advantage of her after all of this, because she stained her name with a lot of lies, and she wanted to keep her business to herself. Like anyone can do anything to her at that point, and we'll be like, "Oh, here she goes with some more drama." You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. I just feel bad for her.
I hear you. Thank you so very much for calling in. All right, like people are definitely. Hold on. Okay. All right. We got a lot of people that's been calling in. Give me a second here. Okay. Give me a second. I want to make okay. Y'all just keep calling. I ain't gonna call nobody back. Just keep calling in until I get to you. Hello, you live on the air.
Hey, Wiley, how's it going?
All right.
Yeah, so I want to speak on the little negative Stallion case.
Okay.
I definitely said from day one, it's literally about what you can prove, not necessarily the truth. So that's my main point right there. I definitely feel like Kelsey is definitely doing her wrong due to, her baby daddy and her now husband, bearing her child and stuff like that. I definitely feel like Kelsey is sabotaging the case because of her husband. And plus Megan Thee Stallion slept with multiple men that she has been interested in. So, I definitely feel like Tory Lanez shot her as well. And that too. It's just overall it's just a sad situation. I've been through something similar with a close friend of mine, so I've always been connected with this case just because of that. I definitely feel for her, and I hope she heals. Both of them, because Kelsey's hurt, Megan's hurt, Tory, I don't know what the hell. But anyways, he needs God too, but that's what I stand.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much.
All right, have a good one.
All right, now. Bye-bye. Okay, y'all, I'm getting to y'all. Give me a second. I'm going to call some people back. All right, just keep calling because y'all are calling. I ain't going to call nobody back. I'm going to just take the callers. Hey, you live on the Wiley Show.
How are you?
Doing good.
Okay, so here's the deal. I feel like Kelsey and Tory and Megan, they all were in cahoots together with the fighting, with the gun going off. They all had their hands dirty. But Kelsey on that stand, playing amnesia, was disgusting. That's the only reason they brought those 80 minutes audio. What is it? Malago Graham. Is that her name, Wally?
Yes,
Malago Graham, King Kane, and Armand Wiggins. I'm so happy they were there at the court, and they're doing what they do. Why aren't you there, Wally? Because I love what you do. Why aren't you there?
No, I'm doing fine where we at right here, getting these clicks and views.
No, you're not in Los Angeles.
I am not in Los Angeles, baby. I'm in Texas. If the case happened in Texas, I'll go and break it down in Texas.
Oh, you're in Texas. Okay. I'm in Marina Del Rey. I'm in California. I wasn't going to go down to that courtroom with that drama. But I'm appreciating the reporting. Do you think Tory's going to get off? Because they said that they offered him a sweetheart deal to just to say, okay, well, just gun possession. We won't charge you with the felony. Just the gun possession and probation. What do you think is going to happen? What is your thought?
Today is just woo, but I do believe that Tory Lanez is guilty. What I believe is going to happen is a mistrial. I'm going to see what's going to happen on next week, but my mind is on a mistrial. I don't think all 12 jurors can come to a conclusion about it. And even though I believe that Tory did it, and I don't believe the state is going to retry this case because, again, they have a witness that was unstable. Megan Thee Stallion is definitely not going to cooperate because she's not going to want to relive this. And, she's just going to want this again. So, again, I believe it's going to be a mistrial.
Well, Megan, you did hear that Megan was not the one who she did not want to press charges against Tory. She was not the one, and that's what people are not realizing. She was not the one who wanted to press charges. The state picked this up. Megan did not press charges against Tory. She did not say, I want to prosecute him. That was not Megan. They stated that in court today. Even Armand Wiggins mentioned that. The state picked this up. Okay? But I believe the reason that Kelsey switched, because here she gave up her apartment her whole life in Texas because she was, moving out to California to be with her BBF. And, hey, we're going to do this big. We made it. And then this situation happens where Megan snakes her, screws her, quote-unquote, boy toy, okay, sexual persuasion, and then you're going to get mad at your BBF and kick her to the curb and let ROC Nation have this narrative, you're a black woman who's been shot, and then all of a sudden people are having the sympathy, and you're winning all these awards, and, you're playing on that because it's about money at the bottom line, but then you got 1501 that's mad that you done did something scandalous with getting them trying to get out of the contract when they invested all this money into you, but you like, oh, I'm trying to rock with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Forget what you invested in me and made me to where I am now, that all these other labels were interested in me. See, folks don't have loyalty. And that's something that Kelsey said on the stand, that Megan was a liar and Megan had no loyalty. We all watched Gayle King, where she outright lied in Gayle King's face. Megan, did you have a sexual relationship with Tory? No. But you screwed Tory, you screwed the baby, you screwed a number of people. But this is not about who screwed. You wore shots. Now that's factual. Regardless of who she screwed, how much she lied, she was shot. I do believe Tory shot that woman. Okay? I do believe that. Them being able to prove it is a different story. But I believe he did that. Now, if he gets off, maybe this would be a valuable lesson for him not to pull no guns and not beat up people like he beat up August Alsina because he didn't want to acknowledge him or adapt him. You feel me, Wally?
Mm-hmm.
What you doing, Wally?
All right,
you need to be focused on what I'm sharing with you.
All right.
Because you be multitasking,
All right,
and that makes me upset.
No, you said what you said. I got to go to the next caller. Thank you, ma'am. Let me go to the next person. Man, don't be telling me what to do. You already said your statement. You live on the air.
Hi, Wiley. How are you?
Welcome.
This is my first time clicking in StreamYard, so bear with me. I finally learned how to do it because I couldn't get in on the calls.
Okay.
So I just want to start with the Rock Nation portion. On one end, I understand why Rock Nation asked Kelsey, asked Megan to separate from Kelsey due to business and personal getting, intertwined. I understand that. But just like you said, Megan should have possibly kept Kelsey around because Kelsey was like that missing piece to, back up Megan's story. But on the other hand, when it comes to this trial, and yes, Armand did do a good job in covering this trial. I will give him that for the day that he was there. So I'm looking forward to seeing him for the remaining days. But during this trial, just like you said, one key part was this DNA that the expert spoke on. I feel like Tory is going to get off. And the reason why he is going to get off, just like the first caller said, it's not what happened, it's what you can prove. The DA, LAPD, they dropped the ball when it came to this case. If you have, just like that expert said, if you have two people that has tested positive for gunshot residue, then two people should have submitted DNA for testing. Why is it that the LAPD did not contact Kelsey to submit her DNA for testing for that gun? And the expert testified that it was a female DNA on that gun. I'm confused on how they dropped the ball on that point. I also feel like they dropped the ball on several points. Far as why wasn't the driver subpoenaed? Why wasn't he brought in that night? How come can't nobody find him? And I feel like everybody is blaming like Tory's paying these people, Tory paying these people. We have to remember at one point when this first happened in 2020 and Tory first went live when he had that white jacket on and that smiley face cap, we are forgetting he's literally said Rock Nation called him and threatened him. Tory said that out of his own mouth. And like I think that live is up so you can go type it in and look for it and listen to it, where he said Rock Nation called me and threatened me and told him like he better not speak on anything. Basically if he know what's good for him. So I feel like we should start running with the Tory paid this, Tory paid that. And Tory's paying blogs. Honestly, I feel like both of them paying blogs because just like you brought up, Meg ran to Gayle King. Rock Nation reached out to Gayle. Gayle didn't reach out to Meg for no interview. Rock Nation wanted that, which I felt like that backfired on her part too. Because why would you go and do an interview with Gayle King before the trial? That made no sense at all, especially because you didn't know what the defense was going to come with. But honestly, do I feel like Tory, can we say shot? I don't know. On your channel, do I feel like Tory shot that girl? I'm partial. It seems like Kelsey had the motive to do it based on Kelsey saying she was upset about the men that Megan snaked her with, the fight that both of them keep lying about, but the independent witness said they saw them fighting, the muzzle that the witness said they seen go off closer to the woman than Tory. It's a lot. It's a lot. But all I know is if Tory walk, he's going to get paid because he's going to sue LA and he's going to sue Megan for lost wages. We have to think about this been going on for 3 years. He had to do bail 3 times. He had that gag order on him. And before I get off, because this is my last thing, I feel like Partisan Fontaine is out of order for how he's trying to treat Megan. I don't like how she had to come out and say this is affecting her relationship, and she don't want to have like relations with her man because he's upset hearing about like her past relations with other men. I feel like that's some childish teenage high school stuff. Like, come on now, Party. You are a grown man in your 30s. Megan is a young lady. She was single. All of this stuff happened prior to you. I'm sure when you was out here single and living your life in the industry, you was messing around too. I don't think he should judge her based on the men that she was involved with. And I'm going to leave it at that.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Good night.
All right. Thank you so very much. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to the phone line. So if y'all calling in, I'm going to take this one last person that's backstage, and then I'm going to go to the phone lines because I got to call a couple of people back. Hey, Talking Faces.
Hey, Wiley, how you doing?
All right.
Okay, I have some things written down because I called you earlier. One thing I want to say is that if you can, we got to get that audio so you can listen to that audio. One of the things that was said on the audio was, I'm gonna mention it that you said, Wiley. Kelsey says on the audio that she wasn't angry at Megan about her and Tory sleeping together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, in the audio, she also states in the audio she was already talking to some other dude, and she called the dude on the phone because she was so afraid. This is what she's saying in the audio. She was so afraid that she didn't know what was gonna happen to her and Megan because the driver turned on another street. Not He didn't go the way that they normally go to Megan's house. He turned on another street, and she was so afraid that she didn't know what was going on. She said she was just calling any and everybody on the audio, and I actually heard the audio. She said she was calling any and everyone to try to get someone, and she said people didn't pick up the phone, and she said she called this guy that she had started talking to, and she just wanted him to be on the phone so he could listen because she was so afraid. So she said she wasn't even upset about the sleeping the thing. Also, in the audio, it came out. Kelsey says, Kelsey, not in this audio, but in her it was in another video where Kelsey that night, Tory calls Megan and apologize. He also calls Kelsey to apologize. He also asks Kelsey to help him get out of jail, to make some phone calls to get, some money together from people that he knew to help him get out of jail, which is one of the reasons why that her and Megan kind of parted ways, because Kelsey was being a little too, what Megan felt like was being a little bit too friendly with Tory after he beat Kelsey and shot Megan. And Kelsey says on the audio that he pulled her by her hair, dragged her. Not only did he pull her by her hair, she says the bodyguard helped. The bodyguard helped you. She says at one point, there was like a tug of war. She said Tory was pulling her on one end and the bodyguard was pulling her on the other end. I do believe Rock Nation had a part in Megan kind of separating herself because Kelsey says in the audio that Rock Nation called her, and once Rock Nation got involved, it was like she was out, she was iced out. As for the contamination of the gun residue, they said it was inconclusive. So inconclusive, that means that they don't know if it's Tories or not. It's inconclusive. They don't know if it's Tories. They don't know if it's the other guys. They say it's two women. Kelsey says on the audio that they never swabbed her hands. So this whole report that the defense has out about Kelsey had more gun residue on her hand, that is not true. If you go look up the reports, it does not say anything about the gun residue. She had gun residue on her person, but not her hands. So that part, let's scratch that part out. Another thing about it, in the actual audio, before, I believe it was before Megan gets shot, um Megan gets out of the car, and this is Kelsey telling the prosecutors this story, and she says that she went over to talk to Megan. This was the first time Megan got out, I believe, and then she got it the second time, and that's when she got shot or whatever. So the second time when Megan gets out of the car, she's talking to Megan because she said her and Megan bumped each other. It wasn't a fight because she said she wasn't mad about the whole Tory and Megan thing. But she says while she's coming to, I guess, see Megan, she says she looks and she sees Tory jump in the front seat. And she says, I don't know how he got in the front seat. He got in there so fast. I don't know how he did it. So what made me think of something is that the gun they said already was in the front seat of the car on the passenger side. Earlier in the audio, Kelsey mentions the fact that Tory tells her he would shoot her. And when he says this, he motioned towards the what's the little thing that's in the car? Glove compartment box. But he didn't get the gun. But all the time, we know from the reports, the gun was in the passenger side underneath the seat. So when Megan got out the car, Kelsey says she sees Tory jump in the front seat. And she said after he jumped in the front seat, she says all of a sudden she sees Tory. I can't remember if she said over the door or over the window, hanging on the outside of the vehicle. And that's when he shoots Megan. So he had to jump in the front seat. And the reason he jumped in the front seat, because he knew where the gun was. He had already mentioned to Kelsey that he would shoot her, and he motioned towards the front. So that tells me right there that is Tory's gun. He knew where the gun was in the car. Because people still want to say that it might be Kelsey's gun. I don't believe it's Kelsey's gun. Also, the Gayle King interview. I think that Megan did the Gayle King interview because if y'all can recall, the press was on Megan. People were dragging Megan so bad. Megan has been drugged for the whole 2 years up to this court date. She was being dragged. And I think it was taking its toll on her, and she wanted to, put her own narrative out there. So she did the Gayle King interview. And I'm not mad at her for saying, I didn't sleep with him. I mean, that's embarrassing. I could understand somebody wanting to keep that part, to themselves. So to me, I don't think people should be really hampering her on that. She can sleep who she wants to. Tory was clearly trying to get with Kylie that night, and you don't hear what's her name, Kelsey, saying anything about it. They all know that Kelsey was trying to get with Kylie. So I don't believe Kelsey was ever mad. I don't know too much about this fight, but Kelsey said in the audio.
You want to call in for the Wiley Show? Okay, hold on. Let me put your speaker on 1 second, talking face, and I'm going to let you finish. Hey, so what's your thoughts on it? I know you heard the updates about Tory Lanez, so what you think about it?
Hey, bro, I'm not going to do no long-winded anything. All I'm going to say is name me one person that lets another person load a gun for them.
I don't know a person.
How did they not have DNA? How did they not have DNA on the clip from Tory, but it's supposedly his gun? Let's be real.
I don't know. I really, really don't know. That's a very good question.
Let's be real about it. But today in court, it was said that they found female DNA all over the gun.
2 females and 2 males.
But Tory's DNA is not on the clip. But it's supposed to be his gun. That's what everybody's been saying for the past 2 years.
All
Keep
right.
it a ban.
All right. Well, we thank you.
I'll let you know.
All right, now. Go ahead, talking face. I'm gonna give you about 5 more minutes.
Okay. Let me talk about the vehicle. I don't know what he's talking about loading the clip. The gun was probably already loaded. One thing about the gun, though, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's already been acknowledged that the police know that it's Tory's gun. It's a green gun, and it's supposed to be his favorite color. Also, we have to put all the little pieces together. It's so much in this case that if you leave out little parts of it, you will get, you'll start thinking one way, and then you'll start thinking another way. About the SUV. Remember when we said we were talking about on one show about the gun shells, how they were in the grass and in the backyard and everything, and the police didn't see them. We have to remember also about the SUV is that after the shooting happened, they got in the car because Tory allegedly, according to Kelsey, made everybody get back in the car. So the car moved down the road, and that's when they turned on another street. So that's why they didn't find the gun casings right there, because the vehicle had moved. They had driven away from the space where it was originally the shooting happened at. So that's one thing about that. It's just so many pieces in this case. Again, as for Megan, people could keep saying that, okay, Megan's not a good friend. I'm not saying she's a good friend, but one thing I will say about this, according to Kelsey in that audio, that Tory beat the hell out of her. That's what she said. He shot Megan and beat the hell out of her. And she also said that Tory was the one that got mad because Megan started talking about his career, and he was really angry about that. He was really angry about his career. So if she wasn't mad about the dude, then why would she want to shoot Megan? Because Tory is the one that was angry about that. And that's why Megan got shot. What's wrong? It is your chat again.
No, you said you beat.
That's what she said. Wiley, I'm telling you, you better get that audio. Kelsey she described the way Tory pulled her and drug her. She describes it in the audio.
Okay.
So you need to get this audio. I'm telling you, you need to get this audio. The way she lays it out in the audio, it's like it fits perfect. It goes with what Megan has said all along. She told the truth then.
All right. Thank you so very much, Talker Face. If you got some more notes, you can call back in.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Whew. All right. We have a Nicki Minaj former assistant, Mr. Barbs.
I'm not that white woman, Wiley. Don't put that on me.
Go ahead.
But listen, I don't know what, and I ain't trying to be disrespectful to her, but I don't understand what she means by that. She's trying to make it seem as if it's okay for Megan to sleep behind Kelsey's back. That ain't okay with me. We shouldn't be trying to normalize that. I don't know why people are trying to downplay that. But my thing is this. Kelsey obviously is the one who shot her. She had motive. She had criminal opportunity. And my thing is this. The gun, because Talking Faces said that the gun was found in the passenger seat. But I don't know why she's failing to mention that it was claimed that it was Megan who was in that passenger seat. And it was under a Balenciaga bag. And Kelsey said that most of the bags that were in that car were Megan's. So there's just too many inconsistencies. And my thing is this with the prosecution. Why is it the defense bringing up the witness that saw the two women fighting instead of you? That doesn't make no sense. They're just literally giving it to the defense. Like, I don't understand because it doesn't, let me say why. Because it doesn't corroborate Megan's story. Megan said that she just bumped into Kelsey and that was it. But the witnesses that they saw two women fighting in an altercation. So Megan ain't telling the truth. But the same thing is that Kelsey made the same statement in that September statement that they just bumped into each other. Girl, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I'm just thinking of from a juror's perspective, there's too much reasonable doubt that he can be guilty, that they can say 100% sure that he is guilty. There's no way. The officers botched that case. They didn't even do a proper examination. How does that work? How are you going to put papers to label the crime scene instead of placards? There were 8 officers there, and none of them have placards? Where have you heard that, Wiley?
Wow. Again, this is both of them said they bumped into each other. I want to make that for a fact. Megan said she bumped into Kelsey. Kelsey said she bumped into
Yeah, they both had that same statement.
Yeah. That's all. So again, I'm going to see what the defense do next week. But right now, I am definitely looking at a mistrial.
It's definitely given mistrial. But that's all I got to say. Why? Thank you.
All right. Thank you so very much. So we got another caller. You're live on the Wiley Show. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're live on the Wiley Show.
Hello, Wiley.
Hi.
Wiley, these are the facts. I don't care what Megan said. I don't care what Kelsey said.
Kelsey's statement, the Kelsey statement in September. Let me be clear. In September of 2022, matches what Megan said. Now, y'all gotta ask yourself this: why does Megan and Kelsey's statement matches, but the evidence says something else? Come on, people. Let's use our brain. Tory Lanez, that ain't his gun. It's not his gun. DNA and gunpowder residue. Gunpowder residue was on Tory Lanez. But how did it get on Tory Lanez? Was it on his hands? Question number one. Question number two. The DNA was inconclusive. They emptied the clip, Wiley. They shot 5 times. Why wasn't Tory Lanez DNA on that gun? Question number three. 4 people in the car. 2 males, 2 females. The DNA, Tory, inconclusive. We can't say if it's his or not. But we know for a fact that 2 women touched that gun. Why are we skipping out on the fact that it's a possibility that Megan and Kelsey were fighting over a gun? Why are we skipping the fact? Why does Kelsey and Megan get amnesia? Wiley get dementia when it's time to acknowledge the fight outside the car? You know why? And y'all, and when this happens, and when this case is over next week, Wiley, I'm gonna call back. Megan, the gun was in the front seat with Megan. You mean to tell me Tory Lanez jump over little Tory Lanez, because y'all say he's so small, jumped over in the front seat of a car to grab a gun from the glove department or the floor? We don't know. To shoot Megan outside the car? She identified him as the shooter. Megan, you identify this man as the shooter? Mm-hmm. The DNA said he's not the shooter. Who shot you, Megan? I'm going to tell you what happened, Wiley. Megan got out that car, and she probably got out the car with a bag. Kelsey got out the car with her. The witness said he saw the woman in the back go to the driver's door in the front. These 2 women were fighting. While they were fighting, somebody pulled a gun. Who pulled the gun? We know. They said the gun was in the front seat. Who was in the front seat? Megan. Why wasn't Megan tested for gunpowder residue, and why wasn't her DNA took? Everything about this case seems like it's trying to protect Megan. Megan, why do you need so much protection if you didn't do anything? That's the question. Y'all want to sit there and y'all want to believe that this girl lied. She flat up lied. I don't care about her lying about sleeping with Tory Lanez. She lied about the fact that at some point in that car, she probably touched that gun. Megan, why would you and Kelsey, we don't know because they didn't test y'all for DNA, but the 2 females in the car, y'all are only 2 females in the car. Female DNA on the gun. Who pulled the gun? Wiley? And this is allegedly. I don't know. This is my theory.
All right. Thank you so very much.
Megan pulled the gun, and it went off when her and Kelsey was fighting.
Well, thank you so very much, Sister Conservative. Wow. Okay, let me call some people back. Wow. Okay. All right. So right now, okay, we can't call back anonymous, but we can call back. Okay, I'm going to call you back 0353. I'm going to call you back 0353. And then I'm going to take a couple of more and we're going to do a close. I'm going to take me a hot shower and watch me a movie. Hello, you live on the Wiley Show.
I had just called up here a little minute ago, but I also wanted to add in. Y'all see how they dragging Tory, but the whole time he kept it solid for Kelsey. What do y'all think people would say if he snitched on Kelsey? He's a rat and a woman abuser? Are y'all crazy?
So
he kept it solid for her, and now
well,
it's
again,
time for her to keep it solid.
And they didn't test Kelsey, so we can't even say if her DNA was on there or not because they did not test that at all. But Megan said
But
Tory
she
did
had
it.
gunshot residue.
Absolutely. But again, they did testify that can, because she was in close proximity of Tory, it's not uncommon for it to get on somebody else if you close by if a weapon discharged.
No, but then let's also add in the fact that according to Kelsey's statement, the driver picked her up. So if she was in close proximity to Tory and got GSR on her, why wouldn't the driver have GSR on him?
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of people have said in the comments that you sound like a former gang member. If you know something about that, you're not an expert.
I mean, all I'm saying is I got a little bit of common sense and can put pieces together that people are trying to avoid looking at.
So you're not a gang member?
I might be. I might not be. I'm not going. It doesn't matter. What does me being in a gang or not being in a gang have to do with just looking at details instead of trying to take one side over the other? Look at the holes in the story instead of trying to look at what people are saying.
Yes, sir. So I want to ask you, brother, if you was on a jury, would you get a guilty or not guilty?
You can't 100% say that he's guilty because of all the evidence that has been proven.
Mm-hmm.
Besides, the only person that can push this jury one way or the other is the eyewitness that we already know said that he saw two women fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else is up in the air. Kelsey got an immunity right after she got on the stand and completely flipped everything that she said from back in September.
Mm-hmm. People are saying that you're just bashing a black woman. You must be gay.
I mean, but at the same time, all these black women are bashing a man.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it?
Mm-hmm.
Do black men hate black women, or do black women hate black men?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it just common sense? Do y'all want to just believe a woman because she said that, or do y'all want to look at all of the facts that have been laid out all the way through this 2-year span?
Mm-hmm. I hear you. So, wow. So so if you were on a jury, I'm assuming that you would say not guilty.
Hey, also, I wanted to add, this is from earlier too, because I be tuning into a few different things, but there was one black lady on here that said that the jury needs to be all white, but there's 8 white people on the jury, 3 black women, and 1 black man that's in his 60s.
Mm.
So I mean, like, if anything, the jury is already against him according to her. And her logic, based on her logic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because people, you've been listening to the Wiley Show. That was a lady that called into my show, so you're definitely listening.
Yeah, it was a few hours ago. I tapped in because I saw that you was live. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm 100% one way or 100% the other way.
Okay.
But when it comes down to a criminal case like this, where you have to have 100%, you can't convict somebody off of a what if.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know without a reasonable doubt that this person is guilty. If you don't have a guaranteed doubt in your mind that he's guilty, you can't convict him.
All right. Well, we thank you so very much.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. So, like I said, the people are definitely calling in. Let me make sure. Okay. I'm going to go to 8589. Let me see if I can find it. And we're calling you back. I know y'all, or y'all can hit the link. Hold on. All right.
Yes, hello?
Hey, this is Wiley from the Wiley Show. I see that you had called in. I'm calling you back.
Yes. Am I live?
You're live.
Hey, this is Wiley from the Wiley
Can you mute me in the back?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Oh, can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear, and it's quiet. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so first thing first, I had donated $20 to you
Yes, ma'am.
via Cash App, but you didn't say thank you. I wanted to know why.
Oh, thank you. I'm saying thank you now.
And second, I believe Tory's guilty,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like all of them are fighting over that gun that day.
Mm-hmm.
I think Megan may have grabbed the gun from Tory, and then Kelsey was probably defending Tory, and then Kelsey grabbed the gun, and then the driver may have interrupted them, and he grabbed the gun. That's how all four of them got their beanie on the gun. That's why I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what do you think about my theory?
Well, I think that Tory Lanez shot the gun only. I believe it splashed on Kelsey, and I believe that the driver and Tory, they wiped the gun clean. And then, just to get his DNA off of, that's what I believe. And from today, I could change it by what's going on next week. I believe it's going to be a mistrial.
But it was 5 shots that went off, right?
Yeah, but his DNA was on there. So again, it was definitely doubt. So we'll definitely see how it's going to be. What's your other point?
So maybe Tory got a shot, Kelsey probably got a shot, and the driver probably got a shot.
No.
Because Megan got shot in her foot.
Yes.
So maybe between all 3 of them, Kelsey, Tory, and the driver, maybe that's how she got shot in her ankle.
All right. Thank you.
So that's what I believe. And then the former black gang member, the one who called earlier, what is he talking about? How the blacks, not the blacks, the women, black women doesn't like black men. What is he talking about? He makes no sense whatsoever. How did this become the black women versus the black man?
Wow.
So he needs to call back and explain himself. How did this become black women versus black man? Tory shot Megan, maybe the driver and Kelsey, because it was 5 shots. And all 4 of their DNAs, it was 2 women DNA and 2 men DNA on that gun. Somebody shot her. For him to say it's black women hating on black men makes no sense.
Absolutely. So
somebody has to be held accountable.
I want to make sure you are a black.
Tory.
You are a black?
Yes, I'm one of the blacks. Yes.
Are you real black? Or your mom and dad is black?
Yes. They're actually sleeping right now.
So both of them are black.
What is wrong with you?
I just want to make sure because
this is the second time you asked me if I was a black, and I told you yes, I'm a black.
Because in the chat.
Just like the chat said the guy was a gang member. Is he even a black gang member?
Because in the chat they say you don't sound black. In the chat they say you don't sound black.
How does a black sound like? What does a black sound? What does that even mean?
What?
I am a black. My parents are black. They're sleeping right now.
All right.
Both of them are black.
Okay. We're
black.
Okay.
I have 2 black brothers.
All right. Well, we thank you.
Okay.
We thank.
And you didn't even say thank you to the Cash App.
I just said.
You never say thank you.
I just said thank you,
ma'am.
I
worked really hard for that $20.
I just said thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna say thank you again.
Okay.
Did you hear me?
I was just saying.
I said thank you, and I appreciate it.
Okay. Okay. Have a good night. You and that messy chat.
Okay. Bye, ma'am. What? And she got mad at Wiley. Oh man, this chat. I'm coming to you 64. Oh, okay. We got another caller. Hold on, y'all. Okay, you keep calling in block, but you hanging up. I don't understand that. You gotta let me answer. Give me a sec. I'm coming to you 6040. Oh, that was funny. Wait a minute, your phone is disconnected. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Give me a second. Hello? Yes, you live on the Wiley Show.
I just know that the guy that was the gangbanger, the people in the comments
Okay.
asking the right question.
Are you there, caller? You say he. What is you trying to say? Go ahead. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, speak. Go ahead and talk.
I said the people in the comments said that the gangbanger caller
Yes,
the
ma'am.
driver. We need him to call back.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. Child, you did all that for that. Child, what is going on with my phone? Because this speaker is louder than that other speaker. Okay, let me turn it off and turn it back on. Y'all hold the callers, okay? This phone then froze. I guess we've been using this for so long. Let me go backstage and bring one. I guess the callers talking faces. You're live on the air.
Hey, I wanted to mention too that Tory kept pushing the case back. So we have to factor that in too. And the reason that I think he was pushing the case back is because he hadn't yet been able to get Kelsey so he can get, this whole deal worked out with us, with her. You have to remember that I think Kelsey has two interests that she's working in. She's working with 1501 interests because they hate Megan and they want to destroy Megan, and Tory. So she has these two entities that she's fighting for when she's so stupid because she's really hurting herself. At the end of the day, Tory Lanez probably will go free. And I don't think it's going to be a hung jury. I think they're going to find him innocent because it's going to be reasonable doubt. So to the person that says, we act like, it's not any doubt. That's not what we're acting like. I do believe because they have muddied it up, there is reasonable doubt. So, and to the black guy that says black women don't like black men, well, I don't know how you can say that because black women get out in the street and march for black men every time they're killed by the police. So I don't know what makes him think that black women hate black men, because we certainly don't. And black women, if given the opportunity, they marry black men. They marry black men. But black men now are wanting to get all these racially ambiguous women. So your argument just doesn't make sense. It's the direct opposite. Maybe you should be saying that black men don't really care about black women, some of them, because we show that we care about black men. Also, the judge is going to give a jury instruction at the end. We don't know what type of instruction he's going to give to the jury. A lot of times, when these cases are decided, it's really based off of the instructions that the judge is going to give to the jury when they go and deliberate. So we can't forget about that. The other thing I want to say, we're not going to act like that Tory is not a known criminal and that he just can't wipe a gun down or contaminate it, because I'm sure he knows how to do that because he's been in quite a lot of trouble. I'm just things that people are saying that I have thoughts on. I'm just trying to get it all out before
Okay,
the next person.
Okay, hold on. Go ahead, Anonymous, because you've been holding. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem, Well, I think it's so bad how the LAPD has really botched this case. And I also think it's really bad that there were certain questions that could have been asked, even by the prosecutor or the defense, when it.
Hello? You there, caller? Hello? I think she hung up. Hello, you live on the Wiley Show. Okay. Hello. Okay, you hung up. Okay, let me connect it with this. Okay, give me a second. Okay, I think she's called. Okay, it's finally working. Okay, because this phone is better with oh dang. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hey, you live on the Wiley Show. You live on the Wiley Show.
Hello,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you mute your phone? So I mean mute your TV so we can hear because we live.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just feel like Tory Lanez, he shot Megan, and I just don't understand why people are just really trying to dissect, like her sex life and things like that. It doesn't matter. The fact is, he shot her. There's police reports. There's medical records that clearly says she was shot. It's just plain and simple. You look at Tory Lanez, just look at all of the past behavior. He's a very violent person, so it seems like it's like a clear case, the whole Kelsey woman, at this point, I feel like she's irrelevant. Everybody know that she's lying. She was paid off. So that is what it is. As far as the whole, black women don't like black men, you know what? If that's true, then black women, they have the right to feel how they feel, because the reality is, we look at what's online, we see black men constantly putting down black women. And I feel like, for me, I'm not really for interracial dating unless it's for a come up, but I do feel like a critical mass of black women do need to give up on black men, because there's a certain pathology that they have that's just completely problematic. And it's like they're not doing anything to just, fix it. And, I listen, I don't know if we can mention other, YouTubers on your show.
Go ahead.
Okay. I listened to Cynthia G, and when I, first started watching her, it was hard listening to the things that she was saying.
Why is that?
But I constantly, I'm learning. And I found myself agreeing with what she's saying, because like there's a different pathology, between heterosexual black men and gay black men. It's just
He's right.
what he says makes perfect sense. It's like when we look at our communities, for me, I am a community activist. I'm constantly in my community advocating, for economic development and all these other things. And I look at the black heterosexual men, there's a degenerate pathology. They're not in the community. I mean, they're in the community, but they are the most violent, the most disrespectful, the most unproductive members in the community. And I just like a lot of black women, they just have a low self-esteem, and because they tolerate nothing, that these black men are giving them, and it's disheartening, but it's just the reality. A critical mass just need to just throw up the deuces and just be done with them, and that will subsequently take away their so-called preferences, because those women are only interested because black women are just constantly championing. Like the other woman said, that black women are the ones that's protesting. Black men don't protest for themselves. Me, as a gay black man, I'm not protesting for black heterosexual men because I understand exactly how they feel about me. So I don't want to take. I really didn't want to take the call. Take the conversation there.
All right, thank you.
But it's just things that I'm just listening to on your show from different callers.
All right, thank you so very much for calling in.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna go backstage, and I'm gonna drop you down, Talking Faces, and Alex.
Yes, sir.
Yes, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I left a couple comments, and one of your moderators told me to hit the link.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Well, I guess I'm not sure which question the moderator wanted me to answer because I left about 2 or 3 comments. But I've been in the trial every day. So
you're in LA.
I'm in LA.
Okay, talk about it.
I'm 10 minutes. I'm 10 minutes away from the courthouse.
Okay, tell us what your thoughts about all of this.
I thought today was very compelling. The DNA evidence from both experts. The prosecutor had an expert, and then the defense attorney had an expert. And then I thought playing the audio, hour and 20 minutes of the audio, which was the interview that Kelsey gave back in September, I thought that was interesting because up until today, we've only heard snippets of the audio. And Judge Hereford actually excluded it as evidence in this trial. But because of the way Kelsey testified the day before, it opened up the door to play the whole thing.
Wow. So now that you were in the courtroom, you heard all of that expert witness. What do you think the jury is going to decide if you have to judge it based off today?
Well, I think that there's so many points of reasonable doubt from Megan's testimony, inconsistent statements, from Kelsey's testimony, inconsistent statements. And then I think the DNA was pretty compelling. One of the questions that the defense attorney, George McDessian, asks, he said, wouldn't you expect to see DNA on a gun from a guy who shot it, who handled it, who touched it? And I heard you say that he possibly wiped it down. But if he wiped it down, there'd be no DNA profiles on the gun at all. Okay. So I'm not really convinced that he wiped that gun down because they actually found 8 profiles. I know you guys keep saying 4, but there were 4 different profiles on the magazine, and then there were 4 different profiles on the gun itself. So that's a possible 8 different people that possibly touched that gun.
So in the courtroom, what did you get from the from the jury, the energy of all of this? Do you feel like they own the defense side, the prosecutor side? Because today, hearing that his DNA wasn't, you can't say it's inconclusive, that have to be a big blow for the prosecutor already, because you had Kelsey said, I lied about everything.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the jurors are just pretty emotionless. There's the one juror that coughs a lot. That's kind of very disruptive in the courtroom.
Really? Because Armand Wiggins, a blogger, said it was a black man that was doing the coughing.
He's doing a lot of coughing, and there was actually I forget who asked the judge that maybe we should excuse that juror, and then Judge Hereford said, I don't want to excuse him just yet. Maybe it's a temporary thing, but that's what the judge said. Maybe his cough is just temporary, but it's been every day.
Every day you've been in the courtroom, he said he just been coughing and coughing. Wow. Do you feel that, because I know they have another alternate if they get him off, they do have another alternate that can replace him.
They got 3 more alternates.
Oh, they have 3 more alternates.
Yeah.
So right now I just got the report that the prosecutor they still doing their side. They have not rested. Is that correct?
That's correct. They took a witness out of place because of scheduling. So the defense was able to put on their first witness, which was their DNA expert.
Okay.
But the case is still in the prosecution's hand, and they're trying to bring some more witnesses on Monday. And actually, the judge did say that to the jury today at the end that we expect this case to be over with by Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah. So it should be in the hands of the jury either Tuesday afternoon or Wednesday morning. So they expecting, I don't know who the prosecutor, they're going to bring Detective Stogner, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that. There was some discussions about bringing Detective Stogner, and then they're going to bring the witness, apparently, that saw the fight, that lives on Nicholas Canyon Road. There's a possibility that they're going to bring Quan in. And there's also a possibility they're going to bring EJ. EJ would be the stylist.
The EJ would be the stylist. So Quan, who is Quan to Tory Lanez? Is that I heard he was a security guard.
Well, according to the audio we heard today, Kelsey described him as security, driver, and friend. So she said he plays all hats. So we really don't know. He does a little bit of everything.
So I want to take me back with the recording. Was Kelsey, was she emotional? Was she crying? Was she angry? What was her emotional state of mind that you can gather from that recording?
Well, she seemed very calm. She seemed relaxed. And they even asked, they actually had a witness from the prosecution's office named Jody Little, that was present. And she testified to their demeanor. She said the husband's demeanor was cool, respectful, calm, comfortable. But in the audio, there are about maybe 3 or 4 times that Kelsey does cry when she gets very emotional at some points of it.
Wow. So when you heard the recording, was it something? Because I heard from other people that said that Rock Nation told her that she had to move out of Megan's home. Was that accurate?
Yeah, that was accurate. The way she explained it was that a girl named, the first contact that she had was with a girl named Jilly, and then Desiree.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point they told her that you can't be in LA anymore. Being in that house is dangerous. It sounded like an excuse, but they told her being in that house is dangerous. And they actually booked her a flight, according to what Kelsey said. They booked her a flight to leave that day. And then she said, okay, I'll leave, but I need a little bit more time. So she asked them, can you change the date on the ticket? But I found that interesting that they wanted her to leave in like the next 3 hours. That ticket was scheduled for her to go to Texas.
Wow. So when I was getting the report, they were saying that, Kelsey was saying that I'm upset about the whole thing with Tory Lanez, but I was upset the way that Megan and Stallion handled it. Is that accurate, that she is just upset that Megan didn't have her back?
Yeah, she said that she really got upset with Megan after Megan made her public post. She had said that Megan had reached out to her and told her, I'm about to make a public statement, Kelsey. Would you like me to include you in it? And she said, yes, please include me in it. Please, set the record straight. And then when Megan does do the public statement, it doesn't include Kelsey. And this is all according to what Kelsey's saying. And then that's when Kelsey got really upset.
Wow. So with this until when she talked about the shooting, what was her part of that drama when the shooting started? Because I know they said they left Kylie's house and Kylie kicked them out. They in the car. So what did you gather from her in that recording?
Well, they actually didn't really go into specifics about the actual shooting, but they did talk about leaving Kylie's house. First, Megan and Kelsey left Kylie's house with Quan without Tory. And then Kelsey said that Megan made up a story about leaving a Louis Vuitton slipper or slide back at Kylie Jenner's house. We have to go back to Kylie's house. But the way Kelsey told it, that was sort of like an excuse to go back because she didn't feel comfortable with Tory and Kylie being there alone.
Mm-hmm. So I know you said EJ is going to testify, might testify or not. What is the EJ part in this?
Well, EJ's the one that drove Kelsey and Megan to Kylie Jenner's house. So them three that went to the gathering or the party, and they got there around 6 or 7 o'clock. That would have been July 11th. So EJ is there the whole time.
So EJ must have witnessed what the altercation that was going on in the house.
He witnessed the arguing in the house. And also, I think they want to bring EJ in. The defense wants to bring EJ in because Megan, when Megan testified, she told the defense attorney, the defense attorney asked her, why didn't you just leave with EJ? If you wanted to go home so bad, why didn't you just leave with EJ? And then she said, well, EJ had left already. But we find out that EJ was there the whole time. He had never left.
Wow.
So she didn't want to just basically admit that I wanted Tory to leave with me. So
wow. So sitting in that courtroom, I'm hearing that it's a lot of media folks. Is that accurate that a lot of media outlets are there?
Yeah, there's about 20 of us that have already been credentialed, and they let the spillover come in too. And that the spillover is probably another 10. So there's 30. You could say there's at least 30 people representing different platforms and media outlets.
Okay. So are you representing? I want to make sure I give you credit because are you independent? Are you representing a brand or a media outlet?
Street TV. This is my credential badge for
Street TV
for the Daystar Peterson trial. There it is, right there.
Yes, sir. Street TV. So I want to ask you because a lot of people were saying that Kelsey is take us back to her testimony because they're saying that she was a hostile witness, that she wasn't cooperating. Take us back to her testimony.
Yes, definitely. It caught everybody off guard, including the prosecution, because when they got to the questions about who shot Tory, she basically said, I don't know who shot Megan. I don't know who shot Megan. I didn't see who shot Megan. So she just did a 180 on the prosecution because remember, just September, what is this, like 3 months ago, she's given them this whole story of what happened. And now when she came to court, she didn't remember anything. Everything was a fog. She used that term a lot. Everything was a fog. We drank a lot. We were drunk. And she can't remember or recall.
Because a lot of people were saying that she perjured herself. Did you get that she perjured herself?
Well, if you dissect her testimony, you might find, I'd have to go back and check my notes, but she was very careful. She kept saying everything's a blur. I don't remember. But if she says to the prosecution back in September, she believes Tory shot Megan, and then if she's saying in the trial that she didn't see it, then that might possibly be a perjury charge, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Because at first they wasn't going to allow that interview in court.
They weren't.
And so because of what she did, the judge, I'm assuming he allowed it.
He allowed it. In fact, when Kelsey was testifying, they would play little clips. They were forced to play little clips. So the prosecutor, Kathy Ta, would say, "Didn't you say that Tory was shooting the gun over the door?" And she'll say, "I don't remember." So they would play the short little clip of her actually saying that. And then the prosecutor would ask, "Well, does that refresh your memory?" She says, "Yeah, I did say it, but there was a lot of things I said that day that were not true." Wow. And she said that about 3 or 4 times, that there were a lot of things I said in September that were not true.
Wow. So they definitely, because they were saying that she had to consult with her attorney. She got immunity. Did all of that happen in the courtroom? Did y'all hear any of that?
Yeah, she came into the courtroom on the first day of her testimony from the back door, and she walked in with what I guess we now know to be her husband. Even though I looked on his hand today, I didn't see a wedding band, but I guess they're calling her the husband. They walked in together with her attorney, a guy named I think his name is Nardoni, and they were having a conversation saying that Kelsey does not want to testify. She's not going to testify. And apparently Kelsey and the judge and her attorney had already spoke in chambers. And she explained to the judge, she explained to the judge, "I don't want to testify because I don't want to incriminate myself." So the judge said, "All right." So then they came out in court. The judge said, she's pleading the fifth. And then the prosecution right there on the spot said, "We're going to give her use immunity to testify. And once they give you use immunity, now you're forced to testify."
So use immunity meaning that you're forced to testify. Does that mean that they can't charge her?
They cannot charge her as long as she's truthful.
Okay.
As long as she's truthful, she can never be charged. So she could have technically said, "I killed somebody," and they can't charge her.
Okay. So hearing all of that, and you're seeing the response. Now this is day 5. Do you feel like this was a good day? Who do you feel like had a good day, the prosecutor or the defense?
I think the defense is edging out today, which would be day 5. I think they have an edge on day 5. They have an edge on day 4, and they have an edge on day 3. Day 2, when Megan testified, I felt like the prosecution had the slight edge when Megan testified. But now that we heard Kelsey, we heard the audio, we have the DNA, I think those days the defense is kind of got the edge on those days. Days 3, 4, and 5 kind of go to the defense.
So where are you at right now? Do you think this is going to be guilty, not guilty? Because everybody is talking about this case all over, and people are saying it's going to be a mistrial, it's going to be guilty, not guilty. I'm looking at a mistrial. Do you feel like the jury is going to come with a verdict, or is it going to be a mistrial?
Well, I know that this judge, David Hereford, he's going to, let's say you're right. They're going to come back split, not unanimous. What Judge Hereford's going to do is say, you know what? Go back in the deliberation room and hash it out again for a few more hours. And he's going to make them do that maybe 2 or 3 times. Now, if they come back, they keep saying we're not unanimous, then the judge will declare a mistrial. But sometimes when juries come back and they're not unanimous, a judge will say, go back and continue, and they'll come back unanimous, the next day or hours later. So if they come back with a hung jury, that means that they completely don't agree with each other. So, but I'm on the fence right now. I would say I'm like 65% on the defense, maybe 40% on the prosecution. I'm still on the fence. I think the audio that Kelsey gave was very compelling if you believe it to be true. If you believe that audio to be true, then that leans in the defense's favor. But you can find some misstatements in that audio as well. So,
because with me, the prosecutor looked like they were banking on Kelsey testimony of being the slam dunk. Would that be accurate? Like they was like, this is a major piece of this case.
In the opening statements, they had a PowerPoint with 6 points of evidence that's going to point towards guilt towards Tory. One was the gun. They have the gun. That's 1 point. The second point was the apology text. The third point was the apology phone call. And then points 4, 5, and 6, the prosecutor said, we're going to have 3 people come in this court and tell you that Tory shot Megan, Kelsey, and one of the other guys that apparently Tory admitted it to. That would have been, what's his name? It's coming to me. So basically that didn't work. What the prosecution said in the opening statement, we're going to have Kelsey tell you he shot. She came and did not say that. So it really flipped the whole case for the prosecution.
Wow. Because I was looking at, I was looking at the gun, and, that to me, if the evidence not on there, that have to be to the jury. Like, his DNA ain't on there. That's a big part. Because that it could be like, okay, with all that, if his DNA was on it, then that could be helpful for the prosecutor. But it's inconclusive. Does that hurt the prosecutor's case?
Absolutely hurts the prosecutor's case. And then also another thing that the defense brought up was the bullet casings. None of the 4 bullet casings that were found were tested for fingerprints or tested for DNA or DNA.
Really?
So the defense was like, haven't you guys done this in previous cases? Yeah, it's been done in previous cases, but we didn't do it in this case for whatever reason. One of the experts for the prosecution said that testing bullet casings for DNA is not always reliable. But then another expert for the prosecution said that they do that because the prosecution had a firearms expert and a DNA expert. And the defense attorney asked both of those experts, why not test the bullet casings for DNA? It wasn't done. It just wasn't done.
Wow. So it feels to me that their investigation was not great.
It wasn't. And I think you mentioned, or one of your callers mentioned, that they didn't even use placards when they were putting when they were trying to identify the evidence on the street. The bullet casings on the street, they usually put yellow placards. Mm-hmm. Each placard has a number. Those yellow placards are thick, hard plastic. They didn't do that. They took pieces of paper that they use as FI cards. They're small little cardboard note cards, and they use those to be makeshift placards.
Wow. And
you see them in the photos that these little white pieces of paper were used as placards. And the defense asked the cop, like, what, you didn't have placards? And he said, nah, I didn't have any. And then he said, well, how many cops were on the scene? He said there was about 8. So none of y'all cops had actual placards to mark the evidence? And he said, no, we didn't. That was kind of unusual too. So he's just making it seem like they just botched the whole investigation.
So I want to ask you, because Tory Lanez did bring his son, I want to get his energy, Did his son actually go in the courtroom, or did you see his son at all?
I see his son every day.
Okay. Do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing for him to bring his son?
It depends on your perspective. Now, I work as a consultant for criminal defense attorneys. So let me just disclose, I work with a lot of defense attorneys. And one of the things we strategize when we go to court, when we go to trial, is presentation.
Okay.
What are you going to wear? What suit are you going to wear? What color suit are you going to wear? Are you going to wear glasses? Are you going to get a haircut? Is your family going to be here? Your mom's got to be in that front row every day, or your father. So all of this is part of the strategy of a trial, and having his kid in the hallway during the trial might be part of it.
Okay. So he wasn't in the courtroom. He's like in the hallway, but all of that. I want to ask you this. What was his facial expression when this was going on, when the recorder was played? Did he puff? Did he put his head on his shirt? Like, what was his facial expression when all of that was going on?
Now, he always has a cool demeanor.
Okay.
He sits on the far right side of the table. Next to him is co-counsel, and then next to the co-counsel is the main attorney, George McDesian. And oftentimes you'll see Tory Lanez leaning to the co-counsel, whispering some stuff, and then he also takes notes. He's got a notepad there. So he's really on top of this on this case. I've seen defendants sit there and do nothing. But then you see those defendants that are taking notes, that are whispering to the attorney's ear. He's very proactive in this case.
Okay. And his defense team, they're good or not good?
Well, I think George McDesian, the lead counsel, is doing a best job that you can.
Okay.
He's cross-examining all the witnesses. He's asking all the questions. He's objecting to a lot of things. Like, for example, when prosecutor Ta was questioning Kelsey the second day, she was just basically asking her the same questions that she asked her on day one. And the defense attorney was like, objection, Your Honor, all these questions have been asked and answered, but the judge allowed it. But so his defense attorney is pretty much on top of everything.
So you sit in the courtroom, you see all of this. What is the people say? Is the reporters chatting with you? What have you hearing on the street? Are they saying he's going to jail? He's going to be free? What is the chatter on the ground?
Well, there's a lot of different opinions because of the issues of sex and promiscuity and alcohol and getting drunk. It all depends on how important these issues are. When I speak to people, everyone's got like a different opinion. I find that a lot of the women are believing Megan and Kelsey's story, and a lot of the men are not. So it's kind of divided along gender lines as well.
Because when I've done my show, I've done my show for years. This case, and it's particularly black women, is my audience. But this case, the black man is calling in and they're dragging Megan Thee Stallion. Why do you think that is? Because I'm like, what? And they're calling in opinionated, dragging her, calling her liar, and all of it. And black man is calling in. Why do you think that is? That black man is just got Tory Lanez back?
It might be because initially they tried to push the stepped on the glass narrative, which was completely a lie. And then it turns out that Megan having sex with 3 or 4 different guys, and maybe some men, it turned some men off. And then Kelsey herself said she used the word backstabbed. She backstabbed me. She backdoored me. That was another word. And she backdoored me multiple times. They mentioned 2 guys' names that apparently she did this to. Yesterday? The defense attorney said, we're not going to repeat the names of the other guys that she backdoored you with, but tell us, how many times did Megan backdoor you? And she said multiple times.
Wow.
So I don't think men are really going to be a fan of that.
Wow. Giving your opinion about, why do you think that from September to now that Kelsey is singing a different tune? Do you feel like it's a bribery? Did they bring something up about that? What in your opinion, what made you think she changed the man from September? Because clearly what I'm understanding is that she giving detailed points in that recording, but is she singing a different tune now?
Absolutely right. That's the $1 million question. I think that's the best question you asked. What happened between September and when she came to court, and no one knows. The defense attorney did ask her on cross-examination, has anyone from my office reached out to you between September and now? She said no. Has Tory reached out to you? Has Tory's team reached out to you? Has my defense team reached out to you? And the answer was no every single time. Mm-hmm. So who knows, man? Your guess is as good as mine. You would think that something happened. Somebody got to her between September and now, but I have no idea. I don't even want to speculate on that.
Because do you see any representatives from Roc Nation, or have you hear anything from Roc Nation? Because they have been inserted in this. That Roc Nation, you admit that they offer her a ticket, they kick her out. Are they there representing or there in the courtroom?
I wouldn't know how to identify Roc Nation, but
okay.
I could tell you one person did say they thought that someone from Roc Nation was there, but I can't. There's no way for me to know. But they're in the back row. There are seats for several people who we have no idea who they are. The first row is media, the second row is media, and then the third row is people from the prosecution's office, and then the fourth row is just everybody else. Okay. So they could be in that fourth row. I wouldn't even know.
Okay. So you're definitely all of this. Wow. The $1 million question people was bringing up, did they bring something up about the driver?
Well, Quan's name is coming up every day in this trial, and it's Jaquan Smith. But what do you mean specifically?
So that's the drive. So I'm saying that would that be the driver?
Correct.
Driving that night. So y'all have his name.
Yeah, Jaquan Smith. I don't know how to spell it, but I'm guessing it's Jaquon Smith.
Okay. So we don't know if he's going to testify or not testify.
We'll find out on Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. So wow, as all of this is going on, I want to ask you, did the judge have to raise his voice and get angry? Was it hostile? Did any of that ever happen for these past 5 days?
No, the only time the judge had to really put his foot down was today. This was out of the presence of the jury when the prosecutor and the defense attorneys was having a disagreement over evidence, because apparently some of this evidence that the prosecution has been bringing in is at the last minute. And the defense attorney is getting mad because you're supposed to present it to the defense team 30 days before trial. And they're coming out with an Instagram post at the last minute. Did you hear about the Instagram comment that they said Tory Lanez responded to?
I did see that on the internet. So they brought that up?
They brought that out. The cop that testified to that just found that on the 13th, right? Let's see. Yeah, the 13th. So he testified to that, I think, yesterday. So the defense got upset. So there was a point when the defense was was explaining his position, and then the judge was just like, hey, relax. That's the only time. But Judge David Hereford, by the way, he's a black judge. He used to be a criminal defense attorney, and he's a good judge. He was a great defense attorney. I actually worked with this judge when he was a criminal defense attorney, and he's a very, I would say, calm guy. He's not going to be arguing and getting loud. He's not that type of judge.
So with that Instagram post, what was on that Instagram post?
Okay, so somebody by the name of Spliff. Oh man, I tried to find this guy's account yesterday. I couldn't find it. But someone named Spliff put a comment on a post that said that Kelsey shot Megan, and someone from Tory Lanez's Instagram, verified Instagram account, responded to that comment and said, that's not true. And this was a comment that was done in 2020, but they just found this post this week.
Wow.
And the defense attorney was pissed. He's like, this should be excluded. And the judge said, I'll let it in.
Wow. So again,
but the defense attorney did a great job at refuting it, because basically he just said, this is a verified account. Do you know who's running his account? And the cop's like, no. Are you aware that these guys who have verified accounts, they have a staff of people that do it? Yes, I'm aware of that. So he did a good job at minimizing the impact that comment has. But hey, if Tory did write that, that's a point scored for the prosecution.
Okay, because that is definitely a point to score for the prosecutor. Everybody, I heard rumors from the reports that Kylie will not testify, and if that's true, should she testify? Because some of the stuff happened at her house.
Well, yeah, she does know some of the story, but I think we pretty much unpacked everything that happened at that I guess pool party. Kelsey was adamant to say it wasn't a party, it was just a gathering. But on that audio, she mentioned the people that were there, and she actually said Odell Beckham was there before all the drama, of course. But Odell Beckham was there. It was only 9 people there. It was a small gathering. Kelsey, Kylie's 3 best friends, Odell Beckham, Megan, and Kelsey, and then of course Megan's stylist was there.
Wow, I don't even know about what Megan Stallion gonna say if he do testify, because again, we had Kelsey, we thought that was gonna be a slam dunk. So I just don't, everybody I talked to, they said, Wiley, this case is weird. They just need to throw the whole case away.
Yeah, I thought that maybe they would offer Tory Lanez a deal or something. But if I was Tory Lanez, I probably wouldn't take the deal. I'm like, no, we're going to take it to the box.
I think he should take it all the way, because obviously the prosecution's case is not that tight as I originally thought it would be. Because I thought his evidence was on the gun. I thought, but it looked like that's not the case. You have been in other trials. Do you feel like this is weird, or just to be expected? Like, because of the other trials you do it, compared to the other trials you've been to, how would this compare?
Well, it's different because it's high profile, but I've seen witnesses recant their statements hundreds of times, you know, and where the prosecutor has to play an audio, just like they did in this case, and say, hey, this is what you said to us 6 months ago. Now you're testifying to something different, because it's not unusual for a witness to have a change of heart and not want to testify. But I think Kelsey's change of heart is dramatic. You know, it's a 180. So, but yeah, witnesses do it. They do it often, but this is going to stand out because it's high profile. Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez. It's going to stand out more than any other case.
Like, who's there to represent his family? Is his family there to support Tory?
Yeah, on the right side of the courtroom, there's a section that seats 10 people, and that's Tory's family, his people, and those 10 seats are usually full. Today they only had maybe 5 or 6 people there, but they usually have 10 people. It's 5 in the front, 5. It's two rows that can seat 5 each, and it's usually packed.
Okay, so you definitely have support there
every day. Every day.
Okay, that's really great. A lot of people are saying that after this case, it's going to harm Megan Thee Stallion's career. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, if Tory is found not guilty, Megan is definitely going to have to deal with a lot of backlash. But like everything else, 6 months from now, we'll be talking about a whole nother case, a whole nother scandal.
You're right.
We'll all forget about this, but she'll deal with a backlash for a few weeks, and then we'll move on to some other crazy story.
So this is in LA, and this is what you do. I want to get into you. You are a YouTuber, or you're a media? What do you do for your media?
Well, I have a YouTube channel that I've had for since the beginning of YouTube. That I do a lot of gang research.
Okay.
So I do a lot of street stuff here in LA. I'm also a professor. I teach at different Cal State universities here in LA. I've taught at Cal State LA, Cal State Dominguez Hills, and Cal State Long Beach. I'm primarily a sociologist, geographer, and I also work with criminal defense attorneys. So I'm in the court all the time, but I'm there as a journalist, but sometimes I'm there as a consultant. And I just finished covering the Eric Holder trial, the guy that was found guilty of killing Nipsey Hussle.
So, you were there, so you travel.
Well, it's in the same courthouse.
So that was, I thought that was in it is this here in LA. I thought you was talking about Mo. Okay, I thought okay.
Nah, I don't travel to cover cases, but we have enough.
You have enough there, and you're there in the courtroom. So wow, so the courtroom is packed.
The courtroom was packed when Megan came. It's like if you came, you'd get in.
Okay.
If you came on Monday, you'd get in. Everyone is getting in now. The only day that everyone in the hallway wasn't able to get in was when Megan testified.
Okay, but now you never get in. While you have definitely broken, I got to bring you back on, brother, because you gave a good insight without the bias, without the theatrics. You were just giving the facts of what you've heard, and you have experience in that. Because I see a lot of media outlets. I don't know if you watch DJ Academics and all of those, but he's not in the courtroom. You're actually in the courtroom. So I would love to get you back on the show, come back on and give us more details about Monday, because we have been covering the trial, but we have to go by whatever the media outlet, whoever's there. And then sometimes the mainstream media, they just post little tweets, but they don't give you that in-depth. You giving the meat, potatoes, the end. They just give you the title, a little clip, and that's it.
Yeah, if you go to my channel, Street TV, I try to give a synopsis of each day.
Okay.
I haven't done one for today yet, but I'll probably post one. It's midnight here in Los Angeles. I'll probably post one around 2 or 3 a.m. And then tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to do a panel on my platform with 3 other people that's been in the courtroom the whole time.
Okay,
so,
I'm definitely gonna watch that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be me and 3 others, and we're gonna kind of do that maybe around 2 or 3 p.m. California time. And yeah, I can tap in with you back on Monday if you want an update.
Yes, sir. I would love that. So I'm gonna go on your channel and subscribe, because people are like, "Oh, he did such a great job." So I want to make sure, is it Street News TV?
No, just Street TV.
Oh, Street TV. Okay.
It's a yellow orangish logo.
Okay. Street TV. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, you got a lot of subscribers. You've been out of work. So thank you, brother. I don't know how you found the channel, but thank you.
It came up in my feed, and I tap in with everyone that's been covering it. But yeah, we'll talk again on Monday.
All right, sir. I'm gonna drop your link because people are asking for your link, so they can definitely subscribe to your show. Thank you, brother, for coming on.
I appreciate the Wiley Show. Have a good one.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right. Oh man, that was great. He gave us the insight for the courtroom. That was a great job. Make sure y'all go and subscribe to this channel. We have that information. We've been on here for 2 hours. Thank y'all so very much. That was it. We're gonna close it out with that. That was it. Thank y'all so very much. I want to give a special shout out to the moderators for holding it down. Listen, thank you, because y'all is in the chat, right? Y'all is in the chat and holding it down. Shout out to y'all again later on tonight. I will be chit-chatting with my members. We definitely gonna be doing that. Okay, we got another caller. Oh, y'all ain't gonna let me go, huh? Hi, welcome to the Wiley Show.
Wiley, thanks so much for bringing him on Street TV. He's awesome.
Yes,
great
yes.
job, Wiley.
That's great.
Job. And, Wiley, I would like to ask this question though. I wish you could ask this to him. Is that the fact that the LAPD botched this case so badly? We probably would not have to go through all that we're going through had they handled this properly. Even if they had to turn around and question the driver. And when there was time for them to cross-examine and they were asking the question about the gunpowder residue, they asked the question about how the person that actually had the gun, would they have more gunpowder residue than the rest? And then all of a sudden, nobody ever answered that question. Another question to me was, they said that there were like 8 different people that had DNA on the gun. To me, they've had plenty of time. Don't they have enough time to find out what that DNA profile is by now? It just seems like so many things. One time you had a caller that said she just thought they were just trying to wreck the whole thing. Like they just didn't want to, they're just going to let all this, they're just doing this because it was a high profile case and they really wasn't trying to solve it. And it's almost looking like that a bit. It's almost looking like, look, there were so many things you could have done that regardless of them being intoxicated, you could have had so much more evidence and things could have been so much more clear had they taken the proper protocol? Why did they not take it seriously that a woman of color had been shot? Because that's that keeps coming to me. And then there's this thing where the question is about, I don't think it's so much, I do think there's an issue in the Black community between, African-American males, African-American women, but also between African-American women versus African-American women. There's a huge issue with that. But with that being said, I think that the reason a lot of African-American males are calling in is because they feel there's some sort of railroad here. I mean, the prosecution introducing evidence at the last minute and not notifying the defense about it. I mean, they're playing lowball here. It's like, because of what Kelsey did, they're embarrassed. And it seems like the judge, I think he's trying to be fair, but he's being more than fair because he doesn't really want the prosecution or the DA to look bad. But come on, this is the life of somebody that could face 22 years. Now, another thing I have here, the fact that Kelsey has stated in the recorded call that she had been hit by Tory. Why, if she had already stated that Tory had hit her, or, that was the reason that we saw the broken fingernail in the middle of the street and that sort of thing, why did they not have that charge listed somewhere? Why did they not just even pick him up for doing that? Something that seems right. I mean, something that seems wrong with the whole thing. And there's just so many questions that need to be answered that you just get in that courtroom and you're like, why did they not ask this? Or why did they let that go? Or why didn't they go ahead and make sure that they had an answer?
All right. Well, we thank you so very much. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you ever get a chance to speak to Street TV again, I hope you can ask them some of those questions.
Absolutely.
And I hope also, too, we should not be letting Kylie not come to the stand. If every other person is coming there, then her and Corey, they're a big part of the case. I'm glad you asked that question, Wiley. Why not? I mean, they may have whatever, but everybody else had the answer regardless, so they should too.
All right.
All right, thank you, Wiley, and thanks again for bringing them on the show.
All right, thank you. Oh, bye-bye. All right. This have been, I would tell you, this trial is so much in depth than Tasha K and all of that. This trial is very high profile because it's with two high profile people. All right. After this call, I'm gonna give my closing remarks. You live on the air.
Hey, Wiley.
Yeah.
One point I want to make to something she said just now. She said, "Why is it so sloppy? It looked like it's not supposed to be solved." Go back to what I said earlier. Everything seems like it's set up to protect who? Who are they trying to protect? And that's all I'm going to say. Good night, Wiley.
All right. Well, we thank y'all so very much. That's it. No more callers. We are done. Make sure y'all subscribe to the show. We have been covering this trial from Monday all the way to Friday. This is the first time in history where we covering a trial all day, Monday through Friday. And also we will continue our coverage on Monday, because that's when they're going to resume. And I want to thank all the new subscribers. I've been getting emails. I've been getting the messages. Shout out to the brothers that's been calling in. So hopefully they subscribe and stay on. Thank you to the moderators for their help. Thank you to the executive producers, our members, and our Patreon folks. Thank y'all. We're going to be talking with y'all tonight. So yeah, it's going to be great. Thank y'all so very much. I've been busy. I think I've been live. This is my third time being live today, and I appreciate that. Shout out to the brothers for calling in. And I'm telling y'all, they were definitely calling in, and I appreciate that. Thank the women for calling in all the time, holding it down, and also thank the brothers and thank the women. Thank all of y'all, because what y'all have been doing, calling to the show and sharing the show and emailing and messages, have been an awesome thing. And a lot of people has been covering this case, and we're hearing of all. And at the end of the day, it's up to the jury to decide. I'm looking forward to it. I gotta get a thumbnail for next week. I'm just like my phone been blowing up. Even after the show, I have to literally turn the phone off because people see the number on the screen. They just be calling and calling and calling. So I have to like literally turn the phone off because this phone just be ringing off the hook. So yes. So I do appreciate that. Thank y'all so very much. This was a great interview. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up. This has been great. We're in the algorithm. We getting new folks. This is the year. And yeah, I will see y'all later. I'm gonna go get me something to eat. And I'm gonna restream that segment. And I will see y'all later. Thank y'all so very much. We care. Have a beautiful night. Thank y'all so very much. Leave a comment, you guys. Let us know in the comments how we did. All right. This was a great show. I will see y'all in the next episode. Peace. Oh, quick announcements. If you want to be notified when I go live, text Wiley to 888-534-4939. Also, our Cash App is $ Marquise Wiley 28. And our P.O. Box information is actually on here. That is P.O. Box 701122, Dallas, Texas, 75370. So thank y'all so very much. And make sure you all subscribe. I'm on Twitter at Wiley Show, Instagram at Wiley Show, TikTok at Wiley Show. Make sure you show us some love. And thank y'all so very much. I gotta go. Talk to y'all later. Peace.